Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TagoIO 2026 webinar series. Today, we're going to introduce you to TagoTiP. I'm David Hall, a customer success manager here at Tago. I'm sure there's many customers that I know on this webinar. I also have Freddie, which is a software developer. So I'm going to wait a minute here. I'm going to let everybody join. In chat, by the way, just a couple housekeeping items. In chat, if you could put where you're from, your name and where you're from. Again, I'm David Hall. I am based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. So we could start there. I'm also going to launch a quick poll here in a second, but I want more people. 21, which is great. Ruben. Nice to see you, Ruben. Always great to have you. You know Freddie very well. Nice to join you. Hello, Sam. Christopher. Very nice. Glad to see people. We have customers all over the world. We're in over 120 countries, so it's not surprising that people are spread out. It's really great to see. So as I said, so during the webinar, again, a couple housekeeping items for people. Still see people joining. Right now, the guys or the participants are just putting in their name and where they're from. As I said, it's always great to see all our Tago customers join our webinars. I'm also going to launch a poll real quick, and you guys just take your time on the poll. I'll have it up for about a minute. I'm going to go over the agenda real quick, but one thing, you can always ask questions at any time in the Q&A, and we'll get to that as soon as possible. We also reserve some time at the end for Q&A, as you'll see in the agenda. So we'll get to your questions as we can, but we'll try to get to them in real time if we can. So I'm going to launch the webinar or the poll. What the poll is what is your primary role in the IoT development cycle? It takes a few seconds. It's very easy to do. So we'll leave that up. And while I'm waiting for you guys to interact with the poll, I'm just going to go over the agenda real quick here. So TagoTiP protocol, really cool addition. It's fairly new to Tago, already gaining a ton of steam. People are loving it. So what we want to do today is really discuss the TagoTiP protocol, UDP, TCP/IP, HTTP, MQTT. We're going to do a cool live demo for you. Freddie will be doing that, where he's going to share his screen and show really how to use TagoTiP and some of its functionality. And then, as I said, we are going to have a Q&A session at the end, but you don't need to wait till the end. You could post your questions at any time, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. We also have some very senior developers that are also on this webinar that can answer some of your questions as well if I can't get to them in time. So no worries. Well, it looks like we have a good mix of hardware and firmware engineers, system integrators, uh, quite a good amount of product managers as well, and CTOs. Nice. All right, very good. So with that, let's talk about TagoTiP, right? Like, what is it? TagoTiP is a protocol that cuts device integration complexity in half, right? And it's free. That's the great part about it, right? Let me move this over here real quick. Sorry about that. All right. So if you're looking at the line, where it says before, right? You have a device in the field, it's generating data. And to do anything useful with that data, you need a protocol tool, you need a data parser, you need storage, you need a visualization layer, and you need an insight engine, right? And then even after all that, that's 5 tools at least that you need, right? 5 integration points. And even after all that, the decision may still be unclear. And I can tell you from experience, this is the reality of most IoT teams today. It's just fragmented by default, right? So when you really look at the bottom row, right, here you're looking at the device, right? Same destination, right? Your destination is the decision, right? But everything in the middle is now in one place on TagoIO. You got your protocol, data, AI, visualization, insights, and then you come to your decision, right? So we have compacted everything in TagoTiP to make it super easy and super useful for you guys to use to really speed up the cycle of the integration, if you will, end to end, right? To get to what matters, and that's the decision, what you're going to do with the data, the insights that you're going to get with it. And speaking on that, if you really think of Tago as a whole, I get a lot of questions when I go to shows and they're like, oh, well, you're just a visualization platform. And no, it's much, much more than that. Again, it's a full stack IoT platform, right? So we have everything, the APIs, the SDKs, backup, SSO, 2FA, really strong on the security front, multi-region, multi-language, dictionary. When I mentioned multi-language, that's the representation of the dictionary, entity database. We even have offer a dedicated instance if anybody's interested in that. So when you think about Tago, it's really a one-stop place. So when customers come to me or potential customers and they tell me, "Oh, well, you're just a visualization company." Once they learn about all the blocks that make up Tago and really the flexibility that you have, they're really taken back and then they really get interested. They want to know more about it, right? And of course, that's my job. I speak to potential customers and our customers all day, every day, right? So again, what I like to say about Tago, right? If I had to think of one word to describe Tago, it's customization, right? That's what, in my opinion, makes Tago unique. You can build on Tago yourself. You could obviously use our professional services if you ever chose to. So those sort of things is really makes it easy for you to come to your decision as we're showing in this slide as well. But as your business requirements are going to change. There's no doubt about it. And as your business requirement, let's say you've built your application, you're happy with it, but you have a new business requirement that comes in. Or maybe you're going to venture off into a whole new vertical. You can easily adapt those changes in real time on Tago. You could do it yourself, or you could use our professional services. I would say the majority of our customers build themselves, right? They learn Tago. We have a learning center. It's an online course. Take it your own pace. That's also free to do. And they really learn how to develop on Tago. And it really goes, don't think you have to start at the bottom either, right? We have templates. We have what we call Kickstarter. It's basically a foundation piece that you can build on. We have a lot of videos and self-help. And of course, these webinars are extremely helpful. So there's a lot that you can do on Tago. Again, it's a full stack IoT platform, which is great. So I think we have one more. Let me check okay, so I am going to share these results quickly. I'll leave that up just for a minute. Now with that, I believe, let me close this result. Phil, if you could start, we do have one more poll that we want to do. Let me get that real quick. There you go. Which protocol does your IoT project use? Right? Is it MQTT? Is it something else? UDP? Lots of people are answering already. I see MQTT is pretty popular, which stands true with my interactions with customers. HTTPS. So yeah, a lot of great answers. Thank you guys for participating in that. It's very interesting for me to see what everybody is showing there. So that's cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it to Freddie, and he's just going to go through a few slides, and then after that, he is going to do a live demo for you guys. I'll be monitoring chat as well as a few other developers that I said that are on the back end watching. But with that, I'll be right back, guys. Freddie, take it away. It's all you.
Thank you, David. Right. So with the goal of TagoTiP, which is our new protocol, we wanted to make the option of sending data to TagoIO to be as easy as possible. As you can see here, we have TCP, UDP, MQTT, and HTTP. Those are the transport layers that can be used to send the data to TagoIO or just communicate with TagoIO using TagoTiP. The goal is to just make it as easy as possible. You can go to the next slide, David. So here we have an example regarding the size difference. On the left, we have a regular HTTP post using the regular device token on the left. And on the right, we have TagoTiP just with the payload for example, that you'd use either in UDP or TCP, for example, you can see that it is 4.3 times smaller. So that means you'll be using less battery and you'll also be using less data. So in the end, you'll be using less money as well, which everyone likes. You can go to the next slide here. Right, so here what we have is a screenshot of our Toggle docs. Let me actually add that here in the chat for everyone, specifically UDP. So here you can see the endpoint, either for the US region or the EU region, along with the static port, the static IP we have, and the ports, either if you're using plain text or if you're encrypting data. On the bottom there, you can see the style, the format of our protocol, which I'll get into further detail in our next slide. But mainly UDP is to simply send data to the cloud. You don't have any handshake. So that means you also don't have a continuous connection, which I'll go over in the next slide. So you can go to the next slide here, David. So here I have a command that I ran on my terminal. As you can see down on that GIF there, you can see that it's responding with a acknowledgement of OK and 1. That means I've saved a single variable. And inside of the command there, you can see push, the hash 16 character string that we use for directing the data to a specific profile. To the right of it, we have the serial of the device itself so that we know which device inside of the profile we're sending data to. And we also have the payload itself, which currently we have temperature as the variable, its value with the 2 dots equals 25.5, and the unit being symbolized by hashtag, and then having the C next to it. You can also add things, for example, that you already know, like the group, which would be, I forgot the name of that little hat. I forgot the name of it. Also the location as well, for example, the timestamp as well. So that's all documented inside of the documentation, of course. For UDP, we have the commands push, get, and ping. Since ping would be for pulling the command from the acknowledgement of the UDP command. And yeah, I use netcat for this in this example, which I'll also be using in the demo. You can go to the next slide. Right, then here we have TCP, which is the other transport layer that we have available other than HTTP and MQTT. So here you also have speed, but you also have real-time commands since there's a handshake involved. You can see there down in how it works. You can receive handshakes from that from the real-time command. So the host does change. Now it's tcp.tip.yourregion.tago.io, along with there's also the static IP and the ports, either being plain text or TLS. And this TCP does not have the ping command, since you can just stay on the connection and receive the commands instead. So you have push and pull. So you can go to the next slide. Then here we have an example as well. Same style with the same data as well. You can go to the next one. Right, then here we have TagoTiP over HTTP. So it's very similar to what we already have in our API, which is just sending data. Currently, you could send data either via the network token or by sending it via the device token. And now you can also send it over TagoTiP as well. So you also have a different host as well as the ports 80 and 443. And the methods would be post, get, or head, being that head would also be for pulling commands. Post would be for, of course, sending data, and get for retrieving data as well. You can go to the next slide. And then here I have an example of a curl using TagoTiP. So you'd have the authorization header. you'd prefix it with TagoTiP and then the 16-character hex string. For the device, it would be inside of the route, as there in the example 1234, 1234. And the body is the same format. And you also have the GIF there showing it, the execution. Right, then for TagoTiP, which is a very good news. So with this addition, we can now have MQTT for everyone, for even free accounts. Of course, there are restrictions, which I'm going to go over right now, so that it is still viable. So we have the host, as usual, the ports as well, with TLS if necessary, and the topic structure. So here, you'll either, as you've seen in the other transports, push, pull, or acknowledgement. So you can either just push data and you do not need to subscribe to the acknowledgement, for example, or you can pull data for a specific value, specific variable, and you also have the acknowledgement as well. For if you're going to pull data, you will of course need to subscribe to the acknowledgement topic. If you could go to the next slide. So here are the supported and non-supported features for MQTT on TagoTiP. So specifically, you won't be able to pick any topic, as I've just went over. You'll be, as mentioned there, isolated per context. You won't have retained messages, nor last will, nor persistent sessions or offline messages, but you still have QoS levels and TLS. You can go to the next slide. Okay.
Thank you, Freddie. So real quick, we're going to take just a few seconds here. Again, post your questions. If you guys relate to the webinar, no worries. We are recording it. But post your questions in chat if you have any. So right now, I think you guys are getting an idea what the landscape of TagoTiP looks like, right? It's very powerful, very useful. And as I said at the top of the webinar, right, everything's in one place. It's all on TagoIO. So very convenient for you. So I just want to remind everybody about the questions. We will have a Q&A at the end. Right now, I'm not seeing any questions. So don't be shy. Go ahead and post them. But with that, I believe Freddie is going to share his screen now and give the live demo. So that's going to be really good, guys. Go ahead, Freddie.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, perfect. So the first step, one second. Okay, so the first step would be, of course, to create our credentials so that we can actually authenticate ourselves when we're sending data. So to do that, we'd head over to devices in our brand new interface, which looks lovely. Go here to authorization. Then you'd come here to add authorization and name it. So I'll just name it TagoTiP demo example. And here I'll pick TagoTiP. TagoTiP MQTT, it's separate because it's just a way to copy it easier there. So I'll create it here. Then here we have the token hash, which is necessary to send data, of course. So I'll just keep that copied here already, and I'll open another tab. So now the next step would be to create our device using the connector and network so that the middleware can send that data to that specific device using the serial number. So let's come here. So I'll click back on devices and go to new device. And I can go down here to TagoTiP UDP, or I can just select, search it here, right? And I select the connector here. So here I'll write connect TagoTiP demo device UDP. I'll change it to mutable in case I want to change any data. And I'll put 123, 123. Here I'll enable this, and I'll disable this and create my device. Okay, so now I've created my device. So I now have the hash and the serial number. So all that's left to do is to send the data. So I'll enable the inspector here, and I'll open my terminal here. Second. Let me find that. So first I'll get the authorization here, copy that hash, add it to my command. Oh, remains terminal here, and copy that command over to my terminal. So here I have that same command from before, but now I have the new hash and the new serial, and I'll be sending temperature.5 in the unit Celsius. So now let me open that. Oops. Go back to that device that I just created. Open the inspector so I can see it arriving in real time, and hit enter here as well. So here we can see that the data arrived successfully, and I can come here to data and see it here as well. So what if I want to pull this data? So I can also do the same here. So here I have the same authorization, of course, but now I am pulling data instead of sending data, and I am pulling the specific variable value here. So I should receive this exact variable. Yeah. So here I have the temperature, which was 2.5 Celsius at this timestamp with this group here, which is also the same as here. So that's how you could send data and pull data using the UDP commands, for example. So I'll clear my terminal here and also create a TCP device. So here, it's the same steps. Come here to device, look for TagoTiP TCP, like such. And I'll name it the same, just with the suffix as TCP. And I'll also use 123.123, since it's a different network. And I'll have the same configurations there. So here I now have the same device. I have the serial created and the hash created. So I'll turn on the live inspector as well and use my commands as well. So here I'll be sending the same value, but in TCP. As you can see, the data arrived, just like with UDP. And I've also been acknowledged that I saved one variable. And the same goes if I want to pull data as well. Same command. And I have the same data here. Of course, a different timestamp and different group, right? But same data. Now there's also HTTP. So I can come here to devices and also create a HTTP device using TagoTiP and add the 123.123. As long as I don't have any device that also uses this connector and has this serial number. Oh, just because I said it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So same thing here. Go to Live Inspector just to see the data actually arriving. And I'll come here to my commands that I have on my left here and slightly modify them to have the new authorization, which I need to copy here once again to token hash. Okay, and then come back here to my terminal. And here I have the curl for TagoTiP with the updated hash and the serial number. So if I come back here to the device, to inspector and inspect it to the device and send that data, should then arrive here as well. Same as the other layers, transports. I also have one variable as a acknowledgement. And also to pull data, it's the same, which I will show here as well. So here I'm getting temperature and humidity. So it will only pull humidity in that, it will only pull temperature in that case. Since I don't have humidity in this device, I've just created it. So here we have the same data as well. Now with MQTT, it's a little bit different, right? Because I'll be using MQTT-X in this case, and we also need to create another authorization. So I'll close this. And let's create the new authorization in that case. So we come here to the authorization page again, click on Add Authorization, and use TagoTiP demo MQTT example as the name. And here we'll have TagoTiP MQTT. So here we'll have the user and the password, but the user is basically the first 8 characters of the token hash, and the password is the last 8. So that would be the user and password. So I'm going to open my MQTTX here so that I can create a new connection and subscribe to the broker. So let's come here to here. I am a US based account, so I'm using that host. And I'll keep that client ID, and the password and username I can take from here. Oh, okay, I had 2 tabs open. Okay, user, copied that password, and copy the password here. And then we can connect. So here we've connected. First thing I'm going to do is subscribe. Actually, I need to create the device, of course. So here I clicked on the device page, create a new device, just like all the other ones. Come here to TagoTiP MQTT. I'll change it to mutable in case I want to change anything. I forgot what I was naming the other ones. And I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And use TagoTiP since I'm not using TLS in this case. I'll create my device. It's finished. So now I can actually send the data. So we can come back here. Since the directing data to a specific profile was done when we connected. So now here we just need to add the device that's going to be receiving that data. So in that case, for sending data inside of MQTTX, you do it here. We have the data, the topic that we're going to be sending it in. So I'll update that serial number to 12345, 12345. And here you can see that I'm sending temperature at 4.5, and the unit is Celsius, and humidity at 65, and the unit is percentage. And I want to also subscribe to the acknowledgement topic so I know that it arrived. So let me pull that here. Confirm. And okay, so that is also correct. And let's also add additional, for example, just to show how it works. And I believe it's like that. And I'll remove humidity here. So the temperature will be 4.5 Celsius, and it will also have a location tied to it. So let's turn on the inspector here and send that data. So we sent the data and it arrived. Let's see how it arrived. So here we have the data, the temperature, its value, its unit, and also its location here, as you can see. But I noticed that we did not receive the acknowledgement. Oh, I see. I forgot to remove the curly brackets here and here. Okay. So let's just send that same data again. So I'll send it here. Okay. And then we receive the acknowledgement here as well. And if we want to, for example, pull data, it would be pull here instead. And then here we just add temperature, and send. And then it acknowledges us and sends us the temperature that we just sent, which was 4.5 Celsius. I believe that's everything on my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Freddie. That's great. We have a few minutes here. As you can see, pretty easy to use. Let me go back 1 second. Oops. Let me share my screen. I just want to share, since we have a couple minutes, I think it'd be good for me to show you some useful items you can find on our website. So obviously I'm at the website here. TagoTiP, extremely useful. Tago's huge though. We have all kinds of different tools and things that really make up Tago and make it a full stack IoT platform, quite honestly, right? So I didn't see any questions in the Q&A, so I wanted to just show our website just for a minute. Okay, if you're new to Tago, you can always request a demo. Most likely you're going to connect with me, and I can even have a developer on that if you have technical questions, right? Or I can just go over the platform in itself in a demo. So just please request a demo, not a problem there. But I just want to show you a couple things that I spoke about at the top of the webinar. So if you go to resources, we have the dashboard templates, right? When you download these, you own them. They're in your profile. You can do what you want with them. So again, yes, you can develop on Toggle, but you don't have to start from scratch. You have a launching point here, and this is really get you going very fast. So I would check out our templates as well as if you want to learn on Tago, this is extremely popular, guys, is just go to our learning center. Take all our learning center. It's self-paced, it's free, it doesn't cost a dime. You could take this, the 100 modules or more of the fundamentals, if you will. 200 modules are a little more advanced. And of course, we have our videos, past webinars. We have some cool webinars coming up, so make sure you check out our events page as well, right? That's really cool to do. I do know we have, let's see here. Yeah, we have some events coming up. We're going to go over AI. Sign up for that one, guys. That one's going to be really good. We also have scaling smarter on Tago Deploy. That's also a good webinar. So these are coming up. So just a quick, refresh if you're new to Tago. That's where you can find some things fairly quickly, right? And you can sign up for a free account. One thing that's unique about Tago that I don't see a lot of other companies do, quite frankly, is our free account doesn't have a trial limit, right? If you want to have a free account for a year, go ahead, right? You have limited resources, of course, like 5 devices and 5 dashboards, but it's a great launching point for you to get to know Tago, right? So I highly suggest, before we close out here, everybody, highly suggest request a demo, open a free account, follow us on LinkedIn. We're posting all kinds of content on there. And also, I would sign up for our newsletter so you know what's coming. We have a lot of great things coming this year, right? So just, keep your eye on the ball, on the Tago ball, if you will, and you'll see all the great things that we have coming out and what we're doing on the platform. Because we have recently, and we do this once or twice a year, but we ask our customers, to give input on the platform, right? Whether that's through a survey or maybe we're looking at tickets or the community is a great place. We're looking at all these things. So I think we do have a question now. Let me check that. One second here. Let's see. Let me move this over here so I'm not staring off into space. Let's see. Adrian has a question. Why would I use TIP with MQTT instead of UDP or TCP? Looks like using the same amount of data. Freddie, if you could look at that question, I don't know if you have a response to that. By the way, if we don't have a technical response, we'll certainly get back to you. We could see your name, so we can get back to you. So that one's for Adrian.
Right. So Victor Lima responded
Oh,
down
he
there.
did? Oh,
Yes, but basically, if you have the option to use UDP and TCP, now it's even easier now that we have TagoTiP. We definitely think you should use that instead, since it's a lot easier.
nice. I see Sam got his question. Hello, Sam. Good to see you here. Glad you made it. Very good. Looks like Victor has answered Sam as well. We can hang out here just for a couple more seconds, see if anybody else has any questions. But as you can see, one thing I want you to pull away from this webinar is really to understand that now, since we have TagoTiP, it's really made the integration much easier. Customers were asking for it. We listened. We delivered. And again, like I said, we have more things coming here in the future, in the near future. So keep an eye on that. But with that, everybody, oh, one more question, I believe here. The IP addresses for UDP, are they unicast or is there more information known about the redundancy of the system on that side? I'm sure one of our developers that's watching will go ahead and respond to Ruben. By the way, lots of great interaction with you lately, Ruben. So I'm also glad that you're here. We'll see if we can get that question answered. I don't really know the answer. Yeah, that one's going to take a developer. Again, I'm just a customer success manager.
Yeah,
So,
I,
so
I
bear
think
with me.
I'll need some help from Victor on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get to it. Um, so why, uh, let's see. Yeah, it is really cool, Ruben. I agree with you. Yeah, what Ruben says, it's a nice functionality to see added. In a nutshell, is what he said. And I agree. As I said, we had a lot of customers, you know, asking for something similar, right? So our great development team built this out, and it's just been extremely beneficial for our customer base. So really cool stuff. Ruben, if we don't get to the answer to your question, Freddie and I will follow up with you. We have your email address since we've been communicating with you. So we'll go ahead and take that one offline. Give it a couple more seconds here. We're almost out of time anyway. So, Ruben, if that's all right, we'll take that question offline and I'll shoot you an email here after this webinar. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, thank you. Oh, it looks like, oh, Victor responded to you. But Ruben, you have my email address, man. Hit me up. Shoot me an email if you got more questions. All right, everybody. Thank you for your time today. Again, make sure you sign up for those other webinars. They're really good. The AI one, I am definitely looking forward to. Everybody should be joining that one. Request a demo, sign up for a free account. But other than that, thank you, everybody. Have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.